Hello and welcome back to the Essex Allotment Farm. You can probably tell that I'm not at the farm, in the garden, and I thought I'd do this video on how I've got to this point, where I am, and a little bit about me. So I hope you enjoy this. It's a little bit different. The Essex Allotment Farm was an idea I came up with, and its main principle and its main reasoning behind the starting of it was to enable people in the local area to get their hands on top quality, nutrient rich, organic vegetables that are not as readily available as they should be here in the UK. My background is I'm an allotmenteer, but there are some crossovers from some of the jobs I've had in my career in the past. So I worked for a major retailer. I was a fruit and veg buyer for them. I was part of a team that helped design a waste redistribution system to ensure that edible food waste didn't go into landfill. And right way back when I was at college and studying, I was a fruit and veg stacker at that supermarket, part-time when I was 17, 18, 19 years old. So I've always been in and around fruit and veg. There's only sort of hobbyist growing or agriculture in my family history. Some of my earliest memories were my granddad growing cucumbers and tomatoes in his greenhouse up in South Yorkshire. You'll never forget the smell of tomato plants that have been in a hot greenhouse on a summer's day. It just hits you as you open the door. So that's some of my earliest memories on that. And my mother's a florist into floral arts, and while she has a lovely back garden, which is immaculate, she doesn't necessarily grow the flowers for what she does, but she uses them as an end product. So there's not loads of family history in horticulture. My dad's not a horticulturist at all. I wasn't until maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And that's all the family history I have. So my long-term vision for the farm is to have a community-supported agriculture farm where volunteers, open mornings, coffee mornings, groups of people that are interested in growing and learning how to grow their own food. And it becomes this hub, as well as the business side of it, which is obviously a veg box service, a profit-making organisation that I sell veg at farmers markets through the veg box service, and maybe some wholesale in the future as and when I expand. I currently farm on 1 acre, not all of it's cultivated yet. This is my first year on my new site. I really did a lot of research into small scale agriculture and this whole notion behind market gardens being a local or a way we can serve the local community with this high quality fruit and vegetables that I talked about earlier in the video. I truly believe in this sort of J.M. Fortier, Richard Perkins led sort of way of doing things, and I'm trying to bring that into my farm and certainly get the results that they get as a bare minimum out of the farm that I've got here in Essex. My growing experience is fairly limited. I've just taken the plunge and gone from it. I was, like I said, an allotmenteer for 6 or 7 years before I started this 2 years ago on this new site, for the first time this year on a much bigger scale. Over those 6 or 7 years, I picked the brains of anyone that would talk to me on the allotment site. I do a lot of self-teaching over the internet, courses online, lots of talks. I've been to a few talks, including, people that you'd be familiar with, like Charles Dowding. Self-taught really. So this is going to sound really cocky, and I'm not perfect, but arguably, the growing the veg side of it has been the easiest part to learn. Adapting, being part of huge corporation, having bosses up until 4 or 5 years ago when I first started my own business ventures. This being the second one, the hardest part of it has been learning that side of it as opposed to growing fruit and veg. I've still got loads to learn when it comes to growing fruit and veg. That's not what I'm saying. I'm still very, very, very new to it compared to a lot of people out there, but I've thrown myself in the deep end, so I'm learning really quickly. I think the more and more that I've researched into small scale agriculture, and certainly with the last link to the last project I did with Tesco, which is the food waste redistribution system. In the whole process of food production, we have got it wrong. The whole system's broken in my mind. We're producing cheap, crap food with low nutritional values than the product should have, and it's pumped full of chemicals, or as a very minimum pumped full of water. We've got this idea that all vegetables need to be uniform and that we can have an avocado all year round. We've lost the ability to eat seasonally. We've lost the ability to use traditional British vegetables. And so the whole system's broken, and in my journey to this point, that's what's really inspired me to get where I am now, and where I want to be in 3, 5, 10 years time. And it's really important that, we need hundreds of me all around the country doing what I do to fix what I believe is broken, which is the, food network, the food production network in this country. Where do I see the farm in 5 years' time? So, like I said, I want to have that community feel to it. I want a community hub there. I want, the infrastructure in place at the farm that hasn't even been started yet, to enable people to come and learn about how food is grown, how food reaches our tables or our takeaway containers or whatever. I also want a productive 1 to 3 acre market garden that's producing tens, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of crops each year. I want it to be a distribution network to the local, from everyone from local consumers and my customers in and around Essex to chefs, so that they're using the right food on a whole scale basis, to and I'll continue with the farmers markets and bits like that. So the farm, yes, an ambition of mine is the farm will be a profitable business. And finally, I want to inspire the next generation of growers, whether that's for themselves, whether that's commercially. I want my 3-year-old, who's my only child, 3-year-old, to understand where fruit and veg comes from. But I feel a responsibility with what I'm trying to achieve to, help educate the wider generation, the next generation of people that will be growing up in this country. The next, you never know, you're all pie in the sky stuff. One day the next Prime Minister of the UK might be on my farm at 5 years old, learning where fruit and veg comes from and that kind of thing. It could be my son. I hope he never becomes the Prime Minister of the UK, because it's a horrible job to try and do. But the next influential person in the UK, whether that be from a politics point of view, from a agricultural point of view, from anything like that, could visit my farm, could be inspired, and that's what I want from that place. Yes, I want it to be a profitable business. It needs to be a profitable business for it to continue. That's how I want to earn the majority of my living. Stuff like YouTube, like this, really helps, because it and talks in the future, adult talks, and all those things that mentorship that I could perhaps get paid for in the future. But the farm needs to be profitable for me to be able to do the what I call the nice to do stuff, the stuff that really gets me going, the stuff that will inspire that next generation of growers, and to have the thought that someone influential might, their first time they pull a carrot out of the ground could be on my farm. That kind of thing excites me, because as I've said in the video earlier, the food system's broken. I think it's too late for me to do anything apart from help start that. Oh, that was a long noise, a big noise. But I can help start that movement towards a better food network in the UK. So the next big project on the Essex Allotment Farm, which you can help with, is I'm gonna bring in 50 chickens to be part of the compost system, and then have the added bonus of some fresh eggs to be part of the veg box service, or to be sold, etc., etc. What I get a lot on Instagram, where I've got a much bigger following, is that how can we support you? How can we be part of the farm? How can we feel part of what you're trying to achieve when we live miles away? And obviously the whole idea is that it's local food, so I'll never get to a place where I'm, shipping food off miles and miles and miles away, because it goes against my principles. But with this next big project, which is building a chicken tractor, a chicken coop, a chicken run, some netting so they can be out in the pastures and stuff like that, you can be part of. There's a GoFundMe page. The links will be in the description. It's in no way a plea for money. If you feel like you want to be part of the farm, like some people have expressed in the past, and that's fine. Please, you feel welcome to go and support. If not, if you're not in that position, I know times are difficult. I know everyone's situation is difficult. Just share it. Just give me the thumbs up. And I hope you continue to support me through just watching my videos and asking me questions and keeping me inspired to with your nice messages of enjoyment when it comes from the videos. But yeah, that's the next big project. I want them to be part of the composting system, part of the system on the farm, the food system, so all that waste food that is still edible, but perhaps not, the best quality produce goes back into the food system through chickens, through manure, through the composting system. And I think animals in that way are a really, really integral part of our food system. And in a video, I'm not vegetarian, I do eat meat. I will answer questions on my thinking behind that in future videos, if that's something that you are interested in. But yeah, that's the next big project on the Essex Allotment Farm. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this quick video. I'm going to try and do one of these a month where I just answer your questions about the business, as opposed to physically the actual growing side of it. So I'll continue to answer the growing questions in the videos, I try and show you physically, but once a month or once every couple of months, whatever feels right, I'll try and answer some of these questions around the Essex Allotment Farm, what's happening on it, what's next, what project is coming up, and yeah, hopefully you find them informative and something a little bit different.